This is a hot take from the Small Business Cybersecurity Guide.
Right. As a warning, this is a rant, and there may be the occasional bad word. We need to talk about FortiBleed, and we need to ask Fortinet what the bloody hell they're playing at. I'm not doing the vendor-friendly version. I'm not doing the version where we pretend this is all very complex, very nuanced, and nobody should ask rude questions because the threat landscape is difficult. The threat landscape is always friggin' difficult. That's why people buy security products. That's the entire bloody point. What they don't buy, at least knowingly, is a box that becomes the story every 5 minutes. And here we're again, Fortinet. Why is it always Fortinet? One of the biggest players in the space, huge market share everywhere, in small businesses, in councils, in hospitals, in schools, in critical infrastructure, in government, in places where the words edge device exposure shouldn't make everyone in the room quietly reach for the incident response plan. And now FortiBleed is being talked about alongside British embassies, Foreign Office credentials, public bodies, and reportedly British Council data. Wonderful. Absolutely fucking wonderful. Firewall, the thing sold as the safe bit, the thing with the green dashboard, the thing procurement understood because it came with a quote, a renewal date, and a logo. The thing everyone pointed at and said, we've one of those, so we're protected. That thing. It turns out it wasn't a wall. It was just another computer directly connected to the damn internet without any protection, holding keys, terminating VPN sessions, sitting on the edge of the network like a bouncer with the entire building's master key stuffed in his back pocket. And now everyone is acting surprised. I'm tired of the surprise. I'm tired of the same cycle: advisory, exploitation, emergency guidance, credentials, public sector exposure, carefully worded statement, partner briefing, patch advice. Then the industry shuffles on and pretends this is all fine. No, it isn't fine. And the question isn't just, have customers patched? Of course customers should patch. Of course they should harden. Of course they should rotate credentials and review VPN users and stop treating old accounts like heirlooms from a dead uncle. But that can't be the whole conversation. Because Fortinet isn't selling novelty mugs, it's selling security, it's selling confidence, it's selling a device that sits in one of the most sensitive positions in the entire estate. So I want to know why the fuck one of the largest security vendors on the planet keeps ending up in the headlines like it has a standing booking. Why? Why is Fortinet in the news so often? Why does this name keep turning up around exploited edge devices, credential stories, emergency advisories, VPN exposure, and large-scale customer panic? Why are people who bought security appliances having to wonder whether the appliance is the thing that just made them less secure? Because that isn't a small problem. That's a reputational gut punch, that's a product assurance problem, that's a governance problem. That's the market looking at one of the biggest names in the room and asking whether the adults are actually in charge. And don't tell me this is unfair because all vendors have vulnerabilities. Of course, all vendors have vulnerabilities. Everyone knows that. Large software is messy. Attackers target what's widely deployed. Bugs happen. Fine. But frequency matters. Pattern matters. Blast radius matters. Market share matters. If your kit is everywhere, your mistakes are everywhere. That's the price of being big. You don't get the giant customer base, the giant recurring revenue, the giant partner channel, and then act wounded when people expect giant levels of assurance. You wanted the market. Congratulations, now carry the weight. And let's drag the hard-coded credentials thing back into the room because it belongs here. This is the company that not so long ago had a PSIRT entry for hard-coded credentials in FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer. Fortinet said it was dummy testing data. Fortinet said the credentials were revoked. Fine, I can read the advisory, I understand the explanation, but hard-coded credentials in security software is still a phrase that should make everyone's eyebrows leave their face. Because these are the people who sell security discipline. These are the people who tell customers not to do stupid things with secrets. Don't hard-code credentials. Don't let test artifacts leak where trust lives. Don't create magic doors. Don't treat secrets like loose change in a sofa. Then we see that wording in a security vendor's own advisory, and we're meant to do what exactly? Sit politely and feel sorry for them. Bollocks. The optics are dog shit. And optics matter when your entire commercial promise is trust. Which brings me to the bit that really winds me up. AI exists now, not pretend AI. Not a chatbot bolted to a portal so someone in marketing can say AI powered 6 times in a webinar. I mean proper frontier AI being aimed at security research. Anthropic has Project Glasswing, the Claude Mythos preview, a super advanced AI model being put in front of selected organizations to find and fix vulnerabilities in critical software. Critical software. And what exactly do we think a firewall is? A damn scented candle. Edge security appliances are critical software with ports. They sit between organizations and the internet. They terminate remote access. They process traffic. They hold configurations that can ruin your week. They're absolutely in the category of things that should be attacked internally before attackers get the pleasure. So someone please tell me Fortinet has access to Mythos. Someone please tell me they're in Project Glasswing, something that tears through code, hunts secrets, models abuse paths, fuzzes the living hell out of interfaces, reviews legacy decisions, and asks awkward questions at machine speed. Because if one of the biggest security vendors on the planet can't bring the biggest tools to bear on the software sitting at the edge of embassies and public bodies, then what are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing? We've AI writing meeting summaries, rewriting emails, generating corporate wallpaper, and pretending to be a customer service assistant called Sophie. Brilliant, lovely. But can we maybe aim the clever stuff at the products that stop governments, hospitals, councils, charities, and small businesses from getting rinsed? Or is that too practical? And now let's talk about the money. Because Fortinet isn't a charity, the whole firewall model is wrapped in recurring licenses. Buy the appliance, buy the bundle, buy the security services, buy the support, renew it again, keep renewing it, because threats change and security has to be current. In principle, fine. Threat intelligence costs money, IPS updates cost money, malware analysis costs money, application control costs money, support costs money, product security costs money. Nobody serious thinks this stuff should be free. But if the vendor builds a recurring revenue machine around security, then customers are entitled to ask what the recurring revenue actually buys, not in brochure language. Not AI-powered protection for the modern threat landscape. Not a glossy matrix of tiers that makes procurement feel clever. I mean actual assurance. Actual proof that the product is being attacked, tested, reviewed, challenged, hardened, and improved before the next advisory lands like a brick through the window. Because a recurring license can't just mean access to updates after the hole has already been found. It can't just mean a support case once the smoke alarm is already screaming. It can't just mean another PDF telling customers to patch, rotate credentials, check logs, and try not to cry into the rack. If you charge every year because threats move every day, then your own product security has to move every day as well. Recurring revenue should come with recurring responsibility. Otherwise, what's the customer renewing? Protection or access to the next apology? And that's the commercial wound in all of this. Customers were sold the idea that buying into this ecosystem meant they were buying maturity. They were buying scale. They were buying expertise. They were buying the weight of a major security vendor. But FortiBleed makes the whole thing feel upside down. The firewall was meant to reduce risk. Instead, it became the risk conversation. The security vendor was meant to reduce anxiety. Instead, its customers are wondering if their edge device is sitting in a criminal dataset. The recurring license was meant to feel like continuity. Instead, it starts to look like a subscription to anxiety with rack ears. And then there's the public sector angle. British embassies, the British Council, Foreign Office credentials reportedly in the mix. These aren't abstract networks. These are institutions that handle people's lives, movement, education, work, travel, safety, and trust. People give data to public bodies because they've to do so. They don't get to inspect the firewall first. They don't get to ask whether the VPN was reviewed. They don't get to demand proof that the edge was hardened. They just get the email afterwards. You know, the one that says the organization takes your security seriously. The one that says out of an abundance of caution, blah. I hate that phrase. I hate it with every remaining operational fiber of my soul. Because there's never an abundance of caution before the breach. Before the breach, caution is too expensive. Before the breach, caution is disruptive. Before the breach, caution is a project for next quarter. After the breach, suddenly caution is everywhere. Legal has caution, PR has caution, the board has caution, senior leadership has caution dripping from the ceiling tiles. Funny how caution arrives fully funded once that data that they protected with that abundance of caution has fucked off. And the MSP side doesn't get to hide either. If you sold this kit, you own the conversation. If you manage this kit, you produce evidence. If you invoice for security, you don't vanish behind a ticket note saying awaiting customer instruction. That's cowardice with a service desk reference. The edge isn't a renewal line. It isn't a dusty box that gets discussed when the license expires. It's where the attack starts. It's where trust concentrates. It's where one weak decision can turn into total embarrassment. And if your definition of managed is we'll look at it if the client asks, then stop using the word managed. Use occasionally aware, use invoice adjacent, use professionally hopeful, but don't use managed. This is why I'm angry. Not because Fortinet had a vulnerability, that would be too easy. I'm angry because the same kind of story keeps coming back. I'm angry because a company with Fortinet's scale should be held to a brutal standard. I'm angry because customers are paying recurring money for security and still being left to wonder whether the security product is the problem. I'm angry because hard-coded credentials in security software should haunt people longer than one advisory cycle. I'm angry because AI is now being talked about as if it can reinvent everything, yet somehow we're still watching edge appliances cause national-level panic. I'm angry because public bodies always find the language of caution after the fact. I'm angry because the people whose data gets exposed are never the people who chose the firewall. And I'm angry because this industry has a disgusting talent for turning obvious failure into beige process language. So no, I don't want the soothing statement. I don't want the webinar. I don't want the partner deck. I don't want the rapidly evolving threat landscape speech. I want someone to answer the question, why does one of the biggest security vendors on the planet keep ending up in these conversations? What's being done inside the product to stop it? Is frontier AI being thrown at the code? Is Mythos in play? Is there an equivalent? Or are we all just meant to enjoy another annual renewal and hope the next headline is about someone else? Because that isn't good enough. Not for embassies, not for public bodies, not for hospitals, not for councils, not for the 20-person business that bought the product because someone told them it was enterprise grade. The firewall was meant to be the line of defense. FortiBleed made it look like the line of failure. And if that doesn't make people furious, I genuinely don't know what the fuck will.
This is a hot take from the small business cybersecurity guy.